Catherine Mars joins us. She is a certified educational consultant, and we're going to talk about getting the best bang for your buck when it comes to that kid going to college. Catherine, welcome to KFGO Radio in Fargo.
Well, thank you, Amy and Jack, for having me on your show.
You know, when Amy first mentioned this subject coming up, and I did a little thinking about it and looking you up online and all of that, I thought of an interview we had while you were away, Amy, on your maternity leave. Remember that forever you were gone?
It wasn't that long.
And
no.
we interviewed a reporter from CBS who was covering the tax benefits for Colorado as a result of recreational and medical marijuana. And they said that Pueblo County, Colorado, had derived so much revenue from cannabis sales that they were offering every student from Pueblo County who graduated from high school a free scholarship to any local college.
Really?
Community college.
That's great.
And I thought, when I saw yours, that was the first thing I thought of, bang for the buck. But I don't know how Pueblo, Colorado's community colleges are, but what a great incentive to get young people in college.
Right. Well, community colleges need to do a little bit better job with advising their students because so many kids don't get a whole lot of direction when they go to community college. And what students need to know, if they choose that route, they really need to consider staying there for the 2 full years and getting an associate's degree, which will make it much easier to transfer to a 4-year college. Kids don't realize that oftentimes the 4-year colleges will scrutinize the courses that were taken in community college and say, oh, well, our English is different than your English 101, and so we won't accept that. You'll need to repeat it. So there's a really a cost value that may need to be, really closely looked at when kids are considering community college.
Even if it's free, in quotes.
Yeah.
Well, I would say yes,
sure.
Even if it's free.
Yeah, I got you.
That's kind of one of the tough, we're going to talk about colleges for sure, but starting the process of trying to figure out where your student should go to college is a tough thing. And counselors, I don't think, are as involved as they used to be. I think it's more and more up to the parents. I could be wrong about that. I don't have high school age students anymore, but I know my experience, even, 15 years, how long ago did I graduate? A long time ago, it feels like now. The counselors were becoming less and less involved, and it was more on the parents to figure out, is it the best value for my child to be going to a private school, a public college, a 2-year college and getting an associate's degree? That's a tough thing to figure out. What is your recommendation to navigate that decision?
Well, I think that in defense of the high school counselors, they have a very large caseload. Mm-hmm. They have all these kids, sometimes as many as 500 per counselor. So it's very hard for them to give one-on-one counseling, so to speak, on which colleges to apply to. So when parents are looking and students are looking at schools and whether it should be a private school or a public school, well, private schools give a lot of merit scholarship aid. So middle-class families need to, if their student has been a good student and has a good, strong GPA and good test scores, then there's a chance that a private school would be cheaper than even a public school because the private schools will give them merit scholarship aid. So when you're looking at colleges, the other thing that parents need to consider is, well, what is the student interested in? If they're a liberal arts kid and considering majoring in English or a foreign language or even economics for that matter, that they really do need to weigh the cost of the college that the student wants to attend. And when they're looking at the college, they need to also look at the career center and how strong is the advice? Will the career center help them find internships and find summer jobs that will help them give them skills so that when the student graduates, prior to going on to graduate school, which they will have to do with a liberal arts degree, more than likely, but they'll have some skills so that they can get a job out of college and save some money before they go to graduate school.
Well, the truth of the matter is that sometimes in order to get a job, all you need is a degree. And oftentimes it ends up not necessarily being in a field that might be associated with the degree. I see where Minnesota State Patrol, for instance, is looking for people who are considering a second career to apply for it as a job as a patrolman. And one of the requirements is that you pass their physical test, of course, and the vetting required, and have a degree.
Right.
Well,
that's true. That's very true. And it's the second, they're talking about second careers for those folks, it sounds like.
Right.
So we know that colleges have caught on to the fact that the students and parents like big fancy workout centers and student unions and
grassy quads.
Yes, okay, those are all a draw. But what are the few things that you should go take a look at that maybe they're not showing you on the campus tour?
Good idea. Good question.
Well, I think that very much so the Career Center is one of them. That they really do need to assess the Career Center at the schools and how strong they are in working with students as early as freshman year. The other area that they need to look at is the academic advising. You know, every college student is assigned an academic advisor at orientation right before school starts their freshman year. But most of the time, these people are professors in that department of whatever the student put down in their college application they were going to major in. And so some of them are more interested in the academic advising aspect than others. And so it's important that parents and students find out, for instance, if the student is interested in medical school after college, to talk to the profession's advisor. In other words, every school has one or has a staff or team that helps students who are thinking of going into physical therapy or occupational therapy or medical school or PA school. Mm-hmm. And so they need to know how seasoned is this individual, how successful have they been at getting students into medical school.
How important is it for a parent and or student to find out how quickly students at a given institution graduate? Did they get out in 4 years or 2 years?
That's very important. Absolutely. Like most of the statistics that you'll find when you're looking online or when you go to one of the college books like Fisk Guide to College or even, I don't think it's in Princeton Review, but what it will say is the 6-year graduation rate. Well, I'm sorry. Most scholarships, merit scholarships, for instance, are for a 4-year period of time. So when you have financial aid of any kind, it's for 4 years, not 6 years. So what happens if you have the inability, you don't have good academic advising, and it turns out that you're not getting your base classes that you need for almost every major in that first 2 years that you're there? Because every student's going to change their major at least once, at least most do. So they don't want to lose credit.
This reminds me of an experience that I had in college where at the end of my junior year, I went and met with my advisor. I had a great advisor in college. And I sat down and we were chatting and she's like, so graduation next spring? And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you're graduating next spring. That's 4 years, you're done. And I was like, no, I thought this took people longer. And she's like, no, it's not supposed to. You're going to be done next spring. Like, she had paid attention and she had kept me on track.
Good.
And I wasn't even realizing it. I was like, I swear this takes most people 5 years. And she's like, not supposed to take 5 years. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're done next spring, Amy.
That's right.
Yeah. So looking into their advisor is an important one, which I did not realize when I toured.
Well, I went to college in 1968, and I really liked my advisor, but I don't think she did me any good because
she's probably not listening. You can
well, she was very good, but I ended up doing this, and that did never come up in any of our discussions about being in radio.
Well, and right, and I think that kids that go to college today, some of the careers that they're going to be falling into are not even out there yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Those jobs are not even created yet.
Yeah, we talked to a guy the other day. His name is Rob Wabshall or something. Wabshall's his last name. He is the creative digital advisor for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
It was a job that didn't even exist when he graduated from high school a few years ago, and
Absolutely.
So he's in charge of coordinating all the blogs and all the video that gets out online and stuff like that.
And Facebook is creating all of these people. They're going to be looking for graphic things and fake news to take down. There's 3,000 jobs that have been created till this year.
And not to sound like a total cynic, because I am not Catherine Mars, certified educational consultant, but I think when you take these tours, remember from whom you are hearing all these glowing reports. You got to maybe, of course, the school's going to hire someone who will show you the...
No, I was a campus tour guide. Ask the kids. They'll tell you the truth. It's kids that are usually giving you the tours.
Oh, would they ever say, oh, no, that department stinks?
Well, no, but I think that they're more candid than you'd expect them to be.
Well, maybe the tour guide is working for the school, because that is a work-study program for a lot of schools and a lot of students.
And I don't think that they're going to lie to you, or, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying that they're enthused and they're cheerleaders.
Absolutely, they're cheerleaders. But if the families and students will go to the student union and go get a Coke or eat lunch or something after their tour and information session, and ask students that are standing in line, why did you pick this school? Or what do you like best about your school? Or
Great tips.
If there was one thing that you could change, what might it be?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Go to the bookstore and see how much money they get for their texts when they turn them in at the end of the year.
And I will tell you that is one of the biggest expenses out there now. In other words, I was looking before your call about the issue of increase in tuition every year, and yes, it's dropped a little bit, and it's not increasing quite as much every year as it had been. But what's really increasing is the cost of textbooks.
And they should be online.
So they should be. And also they should also look at used textbooks. And so many of them are online now. But still, for those classes that they require you purchase a textbook, they need to try to find the used one.
Right. But they're always updating info. But thank you for the great tips. For more information, www.marrscaa.com.
That's marscaa.com. We'll have that link at our website as well, and we'll podcast this conversation in case you missed any of it. And Catherine, thanks again for your time. We appreciate it.
You bet. Well, thank you again, Jack and Amy, for having me on your show.